What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video, especially after what we saw yesterday with the Packers. I'd understand people don't want to see Colts content, but appreciate you stopping by. We're going to have Overreaction Monday, and the hardest part about today's Overreaction Monday is that I don't know how much of an overreaction it really is, because here I am, had time to gather my thoughts, and all I can continue to think is that we're done for. We're cooked. We're cooked. All that excitement in the offseason. Oh my gosh, we could be so good. Offense could be so exciting. We get Latu. He's yet to have a sack. We have AD. He's not making an impact. Had some drops in the last game. Got overthrown in the first game where he could have had a couple touchdowns. So overall, rookies not making an impact like we thought they would. Josh Downs hasn't been around. And all of a sudden, the defense looks as bad as the Colts defense has looked in a very long time. I mean, terrible. Defense is awful. Easily the worst defense in the league. Right, I know, as I went through and was looking at the stats, of course, the rush defense hasn't been great. But when you look at the pass defense, we've only had 46 balls thrown against us. Okay, people are 36 between C.J. Stroud and Malik Willis, 36 for 46, which is 78.3% completion percentage, 356 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That is 7.7 yards per attempt. Okay, that is also a 120.6 quarterback rating. And then you also have the 41.3 first down percentage and 19 first downs. Okay, and that first down percentage is third in the league behind Commanders and the Ravens, but above the teams like the Broncos and the Cardinals. And so far through this season, right, 46 attempts, only 3 of those passes have gone for more than 20 yards, right? And one of them went for more than 40. That was, of course, Nico Collins, who had a 55-yard catch. And then of those 46 dropbacks, we have 4 sacks. So, able to get to CJ basically is what it was. We have 3 sacks from the Texans game. So, passing offense, just not good this year, right? We knew we'd have some troubles, and it's not the worst in the NFL, right? You have the Rams at 9.9 yards per attempt, Cardinals at 9, Ravens surprisingly bad at 8.6, right? They're not great, but here we're down here, a couple more teams down, sitting at 7.7. We are one of the worst in the league, whereas the Seahawks are at 4.2. They're the best in the league. Titans 4.6, and then the Bills, Bengals at 5.5 and 5.6. Those are the bottom 4 in the NFL. So pass defense just not there for the Colts, but of course, the story of the season so far is the rush defense, the absolutely awful rush defense of the Colts. We're through 2 games. We've been run on 93 times, right? The Packers had 53 carries for 261 yards. Then last week, the Texans put up 40 for what? Joe Mixon had 156 himself. I think they had 210 as a team, something like that. So right now, overall, pardon the interruption, I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you stopping by the channel. And I also want to say that when I look at the analytics, 50% of the people that come by and watch this channel are not subscribed. So as Peyton's telling you to do here, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn those notifications on so you get notified when any videos come out. Now, if you need any further proof of why you need to subscribe, when you look at the numbers, 62.4% of the views on this channel over the last month have come from people that are not subscribed to the channel. So again, if you're one of those people, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you so much. And let's get back into the video. Colts are just getting ran through 93 carries, 474 yards. Let me make sure. Yeah, those are both highs in the NFL so far. Now, the Eagles have not played Monday Night Football at the time I'm recording this and releasing this. So they're at 7.8 yards per carry, right? And they played the Packers in week 1. Packers might just be really good at running the ball this year. Now, that's no excuse for coming out and being terrible against the run, but nonetheless, the Eagles gave up 7.8 yards per carry against that same Packers team. So I guess internally that makes me feel a little bit better. But again, the Eagles, it's not a big sample size. They haven't played Monday Night Football yet. So you take them out of the equation. The Colts are at 5.1 yards per carry. The Raiders are the worst at 6.1. And the Rams at 5.6. Their defense without Aaron Donald seems to be very bad right now. They played the Cardinals. They just got smacked by the Cardinals. Played the Detroit Lions in week 1. Now you have the Giants 5.3, Packers 5.1, and we are 5.1. Listen, JT had 12 carries for 103, so we were able to get the run going. We just we weren't able to do it early enough. And even when it was a 2-score game in the third quarter, we were going hurry up, and we weren't running the ball the way we need to. Trying to pass the ball too much throughout the game. Anthony trying to push it downfield, even late in the game. You didn't need it all, and he was going for it all, right? And made some bad passes. We end up having to kick the 50-yard field goal, and it's missed. But if Anthony Richardson just takes what the defense is giving him, right? Even on the interception to where he was throwing the ball to Pitt, like AD ran the short comeback. And it wouldn't have been a first down, but it would have been a chunk of yards, right? Extension of the run game type of pass. He was wide open. Just check it down to your guy. He would have been right there. Now, AD dropped some passes, so maybe he doesn't catch that. But in this game, the plays were there to be made offensively. Defensively, you just had to stop the run. And see, this is where, like, you put all the blame on the defense. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at the defense and the adjustments that they ended up making right in the first half. Okay, so you look through this game, 53 rush attempts for the Packers. 27 of those were outside the tackles. Okay, shout out to NFL Pro. You can look up how many were inside the tackle, how many were outside the tackle. Taven Bryan played 23 defensive plays in this game out of the 67, and they were up and down results, right? In the second half, Colts were able to be much better. During the stream, while we were streaming the game, I kept trying to say, right, the first 3 drives, 3 plays off the field, 3 plays off the field, 3 plays off the field. I was trying to say that at some point, right, the defense needs some time on the sideline to be able to actually get a breather, to actually look at some things and say, okay, this is how we need to adjust. They're attacking us here. Need the offense. Let's get the offense, stay on the field for a few minutes so that we can figure out as a defense how we need to adjust before we go back out there. And that was never really able to happen through the first half, right? You look at just outside runs. Okay, these are outside the tackle runs in the first half against the Colts. Okay, the first one, 16 yards, did get come back because of a holding call. There were actually 3 different holdings on that play that could have been called where he goes for 16 yards, but ends up not mattering because just 20 seconds later, Josh Jacobs goes for 34 yards outside the tackles. Then you have one no gain, then 22 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. So even though they're not picking up massive chunks with those 5, 5, and 6, like those are plays that are going to help the team, right? You look at this, they went 2nd and 8, they ran the ball, got 5 yards. 3rd and 3, ran the ball, got 5 yards for a first down. And then they run the ball on first down for 6 yards, 2nd and 4, right? They're ahead of the sticks every time, right? And this is all just the first quarter so far. You keep going, 16 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, 4 yards. Now you're in the second quarter, 2 yards, 19 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, 7 yards, 2 yards. And then with 20 seconds left at the end of the second quarter, another 2-yard rush. So, and again, this is all just outside rushing. This is just on the outside. All those chunk plays that we mentioned, right? Obviously starting with the 34-yarder by Josh Jacobs and 22 yards by Reed on the outside and on the end around. Bo Melton, end around, 16 yards. Malik Willis, left in, pushed out of bounds for 12 yards. Jaden Reed, another 15, right? I mean, just big chunks. Malik Willis scrambles for 19. He's able to do that on a 3rd and 5, right? At a point where the Colts were still in the game. It's 12:54 left in the second quarter. It's still early enough. Like the Colts, Could have gotten off the field there, made something happen, but instead that drive continues to go. All right, but then you look at the second half, and again, the adjustments we were able to make when the offense, or it wasn't even the offense, right? When we were actually able to go in at halftime, sit down, figure out a plan on defense to stop what they've been trying to do, right? So came out second half. Much better against the rush, and specifically these outside rushes where they were gashing it. The Texans and Joe Mixon, they started gashing us on the outside runs, and we couldn't stop it. And so in this game, the Packers attacked that, and they were successful doing so. You saw in the second half, though, where it was -1, 2, -5, 1, -1, 3, 2, -1, no gain. So pretty much when they tried to go to the outside, most of them went for either no yards or negative yards. So the adjustments that we were able to make ended up working. It's just offense didn't do their part through the game to be able to adjust and have the defense able to adjust, right? So offense, we have to come out quicker so the defense can attack, right? We talked about our pass rush, and like you can't use your pass rush if you're losing all the time, and teams are going to run on 93 rush attempts. Like the balanced attack against us just isn't a thing, and we knew the Packers were going to do it. It was Malik Willis at quarterback. We knew that we were going to throw that, and he still went like 12 of 14, right? Like, and had a touchdown, no interceptions. We made Malik Willis look great. We made the Packers offense look incredible. Like at some point, something's got to give. This team, like I thought this was a team that last year with Gardner Minshew, it's basically the same team. We won 9 games. And there's 15 left. 15 left. And I understand that. But the way this team is playing, the way this team was performing in training camp, I thought maybe our defense was turning a corner, honestly. But with as bad as our defense is, and with what I heard about our offense through training camp and the struggles that we had through training camp against this defense at different times and against the Bengals defense, man, this is going to be a long season. If we don't figure it out, if we don't get it turned around, we have the Bears coming into Lucas Oil and then the Steelers. So the defenses we're playing aren't going to get any easier, and we got to get better quick. Because if we don't, we keep rolling out what we rolled out this week, man, we're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Panthers are going to be competing, and, wouldn't you know it, Frank Reich goes from the Colts to the Panthers, currently 2 teams that could be the worst in the NFL. Maybe franchises should stop letting Frank Reich touch their teams. Even though we have Shane Steichen, Frank Reich built this team in his image, and we still have a lot of those players. And then he went to Carolina, brought in a whole bunch of new players, and tried to build that team in his image. Neither of those teams performing very well right now. So, it's tough. It's tough to be a Colts fan right now. The overreaction for this week is that we're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. The defense is going to be the worst in the NFL this year. The offense is going to be wildly inconsistent. We know Anthony Richardson is basically his rookie year and has some things to work on. But, hey, Anthony Richardson had a great game, in my opinion. Receivers can't hold on to the ball. You can't hold on to the ball. You just paid a guy who has a drop and has bobbled a couple balls through the first 2 games. AD can't hold on to the ball. Reggie Wayne's the coach. What are we doing, man? Work on these guys' hands. JT's got to hold on to the ball. AD's got to hold on. Alec Pierce is our best receiver right now. Take that for what you will. Alec Pierce is our best receiver, and hey, I'm glad. I have him on a couple of fantasy teams, drafted him on my dynasty team because I had faith that he was actually turning a corner this year. Seems like he is. Everybody else needs to. This whole offense needs to turn a corner. Defense needs to figure something out. We'll see what happens. Does Gus get fired? Who knows? Plenty more to talk about with the defense. Buckner's going to be out. That's going to be a massive issue. So we'll see what happens going forward. I choose to want to have faith. But here on this Overreaction Monday, it is very difficult to have any faith in this team. The way we looked against the Packers, just very dejected right now. it's just tough to see us winning football games, right? So with that, I'll leave it to you. You let me know what your overreaction to the game is down in the comment section. I'd love to hear where you guys are after some time to sit on this, 24 hours to sit on this. How are you feeling? You let me know down in the comment section. Of course, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we have any more content dropping on this channel. Of course, appreciate you stopping by for another video. As always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.